Today, I am 10,000 days old. Let me tell you all about it. When I was a kid, I hated change. I'm famously afraid of change. My mum tells this story when I was 3 years old, and I was so against turning 4. Like I wanted to be 3 forever, and I would fight on it and say, no, I'm just going to be 3 forever. I'm not going to turn 4. I'm going to be 3 forever. I don't want to change. And on the whole, turning 4 was a good thing because it led to all the other years, all the experiences. But now, this age, I just feel like I want everything to change.
It's been a big year for music and me. It's felt important and impactful. I've done so many fun things with it. I've played so many session recording sessions. I've played so many gigs, both my own stuff and as a sideman for acts like Eve Garland and Clara Machetta and Hey Bailey and Lechner. It's been a really fun year, and the one thing it's cemented in me is my love of it, my love of the game. I adore playing music. I adore picking up these instruments and making something. It's felt a lot like release. And don't get me wrong, it's felt professional. I felt like I'm working every time I've done one of these gigs. And that's how I need it to remain. Something I learnt in school was that when you can play a bunch of stuff, you kind of become really useful in the music world. Like I was first called for a lot of bass playing when I was at school. In our school concerts, at Christmas, and just generally whenever they needed a bass player. I was the bass player in our school swing band. I played bass in the school orchestra as well. And so I realised that you've just got to pick a load of stuff up and hope for the best. And that's what I did. That's how I kind of got to where I am today. I learned a lot of things on purpose. It was really easy. Like I feel really, to pardon the pun, in tune with music and performing and learning how to play instruments. And so what I've tried to do this year is make myself as useful as possible to artists that I really care about and really love working with. I put myself out there and played gigs and contributed to recording sessions, and it's felt really great. I felt productive. I felt like I belong in a lot of these spaces. And that's all I ever want to do, is belong with the right people doing the things I love to do. So on the whole, it's been a success because I've worked with people and friends that I love, and I've played music that I've loved. That's the good side of it. The bad side of it is that you're in constant competition, not just with yourself, but the way the system is set up, that you're trying to outmatch other people, you're trying to outstrip what they're doing. And I hate that. I don't want to be doing that. It feels like a big part of my life is advertising myself, and I don't know how comfortable I feel about that. Like, I want people to hear it, but I don't want the assumption to be that I'm better than anyone else or that I'm big-headed or anything like that. I don't want to feel like I'm not welcome. I don't want to feel like I'm overstaying any welcome. I think I may have anxiety.
Can you
the last note?
Yeah.
For the
Can you
last
do
one?
that once more? I just want to hear it again.
I have an idea. Could you try the third one, go higher on the third, like.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Oh.
That's so beautiful. I loved that.
But then I'm only doing it in the first chorus because the other two I think.
So I wrote some of these songs back when I was quite young. Some of them maybe when I was 15, 16. And initially, I put them all together, not all of them, the ones I had and some covers, and I released it as an acoustic album called Action Figures, which no longer exists. And then when I got to uni, I wanted to record that verbatim. And then I thought back on some of the songs and thought, this isn't my best work. So I removed some of them. I wrote some new ones. Got rid of the covers. Like, the whole album's been through so many changes. And then even the final one you're hearing, we had 3 producers, 3 different mix engineers, overdubs, band members. People have moved, people have quit the band. Other people have joined the band, who've done gigs, who've done festivals, headline shows, which is great. It's just odd that it's done. Finally, you know? Thank God. I'm getting covered in mayflies. It's really funny quantifying your days with numbers, because it makes you feel like you have to count everything. And in my darkest moments in the past 250 days, that's what it's felt like. I've been counting days and calories and streams and weights, how much I'm carrying and how much I'm lifting off the ground. And so something like that, pardon the pun, can weigh quite heavy on you.
As I'm recording this, about 10 minutes ago I got a payout from PRS, and it felt really good. It felt like I was a professional musician, because I'm being paid for my work. I am a professional musician. But it was a nice sum. It'll keep me going for a couple of weeks, but I can't live off that. And that's all I want to do, is be able to live off my music, because that's where my specialist training lies. I worked really hard in order to play these instruments and make sounds that actually sound good. And it's scary knowing that it's not a definite. Like, I've got to keep working. And I love working. I love working hard on projects I care about. I love keeping busy. I love staying active. The London music scene is terrifying. And it's not because of the other musicians. The other musicians are great, and they're all in the same boat. The one thing I hate is the way it's set up. When I grew up, you would go to a pub and you would say, hey, I've got a band we'd love to play, and the owners would be like, yep, sure, we'll give you 150 quid. And you would be like, fine, that's fantastic, thank you so much. And you'd do the gig and you'd get paid 150 quid. And in smaller clubs and bars, that's generally how it goes. But in London, you book everything through a promoter. And some promoters are great, like Turtle Tempo or Bark or something like that. And then you get the worst promoters possible, who give you a fraction of ticket sales, and they're like, why haven't you sold out a bar on a Tuesday? It's like, well, because it's a Tuesday, no one wants to drink on a Tuesday, no one wants to come see live music on a Tuesday, it's a school night, we've all got work in the morning. And then you end up making a loss a lot of the time, especially when you work with these promoters. There are a few I could name that I refuse to work with now, and they have people reach out to me and say, hey, we love your music, would you like to play with us? And I say, which company do you work for? And they say, the one I'm thinking of. And I say, no, I'm really sorry, it's nothing against you, but I don't want to work with them anymore. And half the time the kids they employ say, yep, that's fair enough, I get it, man. And it's like, it feels so unfair. It's an unfair system. I've worked so hard this year. I've worked so hard for the past 250 days. It doesn't feel like it was for nothing. It feels like I've made progress. And I don't think I've done anything wrong. But I feel like, as many musicians feel, like the deck is very much stacked against me. But I've got no other choice but to keep going. And so that's what I'm going to do, just keep going. I've made great strides this year. I'm happy with where I am. And so, why not keep going? What have I got to lose, huh?
One big thing that I wanted out of this that I said at the beginning was that I wanted to make active steps into having a music career. And I feel like I've done that. I have an album, I've released songs, I've released 3 singles last year, 5 this year, and a whole album to boot. I've been busy and made things, and I've written. For the first time in ages, I've written stuff, which feels phenomenal. I've done session work. I've played so many gigs. I mean, this is all the days I've interacted with music. And that's just the stuff that I filmed. I'm not filming 24/7. I'm not mad. A bird is angry. Am I making steps? Yeah, I'm making connections. I'm doing the work. I'm working on loads of stuff. And people recommend me and ask for me. And I get right down to thinking about it, like, when you get to thinking about it, it's like, why was that a goal? Why did I want to make that my job? Is it because I hate my current job? No, definitely not. Is it because I want the money? I mean, half the time I don't get paid for it. My streaming date is abysmal. So what is it? And when it comes right down to it, it's because I love it. I love it so much. There's nothing I love more in the world than making music and playing music with people. I'm going to be doing it every day until the day I die. So if I can make it my job, because I'm talented, because I know what I'm doing, that's even better. Have I made steps towards that? I'd say probably. I've boosted my portfolio at least, which is a big part of it these days. It's funny thinking about none of my heroes having to do anything like this. You know, they all had to prove themselves, but it feels like there wasn't this barrier. You had to have a manager, you had to have a marketer and everything, but God, it wasn't this difficult. It wasn't this hard. There's a graft. All musicians have a graft, but God, when you're standing out against people who have rich parents, what are you meant to do, huh? What are you meant to do? And then you think, is that all I am, is just a bunch of numbers? Is that all that matters to me, is numbers? And when I really think about it, no, it doesn't. It doesn't matter to me. But then, a lot of it does. The positives do. I like the fact that I've gotten stronger. I like that I can lift more. I like that I've slimmed down, but it's something I've been worried about. Uh-oh, I have body dysmorphia. A problem I've always had, and I think this might be a very relatable problem that a lot of people experience, is that I think something is going to fix me. Or I'll be amazed by a new shirt, or I'll see a haircut on someone and think, oh, I'd love that. I think that'll look really good on me. I think that'll make me look good. And I buy the shirt, or I get the haircut. and I put it on or I look in the mirror, and it just ends up looking like me with a different haircut, or me in a different shirt, and I haven't gotten what I wanted out of it.
I've always had a bit of an issue with fitness and working out and stuff like that. When I was a kid, I was quite a chunky child and I hated sports. And when I went to uni, I gained a lot of weight too. And then over lockdown, I got into running in a really big way, and I lost about 4 or 5 stone. And that was a real battle. I was eating keto at the time, and now I'm a vegetarian. And it was really tricky. And I gained a bit of the weight back, and I just started hating myself. I've always had a real issue with my weight, and it just bleeds into how I view the world, and I hate it. And I hate feeling like this. But also, I love treats and snacks and lovely foods and lovely big dinners. And so you have to adapt. And I feel like I always punish myself for eating something I love. So I've gotten really good at making protein pancakes, which feel like a treat, even though they're not. Oh, God. And I've worked out a little bit, and I say a little bit. I've been going to the gym loads. And it's just kind of scary to realize that how unhappy I am with my body. Even though, by and large, this is the best I've ever looked in my life. The pancakes are pretty good though. It's literally just 2 eggs, a protein pudding, a scoop of protein powder, 2 tablespoons of self-raising flour, then you just fry it in low fat oil. Almost tastes like having a personality.
I'm actually off to the gym now because I set myself a little goal of trying to deadlift 150 kilos before June, and I thought I might try and have a vanity go at it today. One day before I reach 10,000 days old. So let's see what happens, eh? We'll find out. It's an interesting thing, fitness, because it's one of those things that's so crucial to living and being alive and making sure you're healthy. Obviously, that's why it's called fitness. But it's also something that you slowly, if you put too much impact into it, get obsessed with. And I think, regrettably, that has happened to me. I've slowly become very obsessed with looking after myself. Sounds like a good thing, but definitely isn't. That's what obsession is. And so you find yourself obsessing over numbers, reps, and calories, and how you spend your time daily, what you do, what you work out, what you train. And it can, I suppose, be quite dangerous. But also it can be really sad and isolating. I found that I've been getting sadder and more isolated, and in a bit of a war with myself, competing with myself against people I see online, ideal standards, just a lot of things. And it seems like over the past 250 days, setting myself that goal of getting visible abs, I've done it and everything, but now I'm just so terrified of losing that. And I think it has a lot to do with progress I made throughout my life, not just over the past 250 days, but over the past 5 years, actually.
With that comes the obsession over my body as well. I just spend hours looking in the mirror at myself and pinching my stomach. When you lose 5 stone, you have a lot of loose skin. And when one of my goals was to get visible abs, that goal became very difficult. That plank was tough. I don't think I've ever planked that long in my life. Oh my god. So this is how Dutch hands live.
See if I can do a pull-up. Yeah, I'll tell you what. Let's see if I've actually gotten stronger by seeing if I can do a pull-up. And by not breaking this beautiful oak tree. Oh, that's detached. Okay, we'll be careful then. Hey! Look at that. I feel like it's nice to end on a high note. Like, the sun's out, finally. It's not cold anymore. I feel pretty good about life, in general. And it feels so odd. You know, it feels like tomorrow everything's gonna change. Like nothing's gonna be the same. And ultimately, I don't know how true that is when we get right down to it. I don't think it's true at all. I think I'm still gonna be me. And I think about everything I've done over these past 250 days. And when you look at where I was and where I am now, to me it feels like nothing's changed, but I look back at the footage and everything, I've done so much. I've changed, I look different, I feel different, I feel better. And what's more is I've put in effort to something. I've tried. And that counts for something. Maybe not in a metric kind of way, but on an emotional level, sure it does. I tried really hard. I didn't give up. That feels the best, to be honest.
Get involved, guys. It's gonna go viral.
He's got long hair, but we don't care. Jockey Joe Ferry, Jockey Ferry. He's got long hair, but we don't care. Jockey Ferry.
I grew up in a really rural place. I grew up in Worcester, more specifically Malvern, by the Malvern Hills. And I would spend hours walking along the hills with my friends. And at the time, it felt like home. Those were some of the best days of my life. Spending time on the hills with my friends. Out of all those friends I went with, I think I only talked to one of them now. Maybe two. People grow, people change. But those were some of the best times of my life, and I hold them very dear. Even if I don't hold those people very dear. I mean, I hold their memories dear. Even when I think back on some of the people that I would hang out with who might have upset me, or we fell out, I'm grateful for their memory, you know. In the moment, I consider them a friend. Which I think is quite nice. God, listen to me talking about falling out with your friends at the ripe old age of 27. And I think about this time, and I think about what I've gained. I spend too much time focusing on what I don't have, which everyone's guilty of. And I really do think about what I do have. What have I got? A lot of friends, a lot of talent, a lot of loved ones, a lot of energy, a lot of drive and determination. I've got quite a lot when you really think about it. Feels good. I've got a lot of good things. And I've gained a lot of good things from doing this too. You know, I've had so many good days this year, and I always have a problem of not being able to see the forest for the trees. And on the whole, it's been great. Been really good. But at the same time, I definitely thought that by the time I got to this day, I'd wake up the next day and everything would have changed, and I'd be a completely different person, and I'd be in a whole new life. And I don't think that's going to be the case when I wake up tomorrow. I'm going to have a good day. I've got a great gig and my album comes out. That doesn't mean everything changes.
A big fear I have, and this has always been the case, is that I'm completely delusional about the whole thing. And I've got to not think that, because it's really important to have hope and all that stuff. But also, it's incredibly scary to think that it's never going to happen.
Really tricky thinking like this about your life. Really very tricky, but it's been incredibly helpful. Put a lot of things into perspective. Of course, it's not all doom and gloom. A lot of the things that have been happening have been really positive. I've had more good days than bad days. Well, I can honestly say I didn't think I'd make that jump. The future looks bright, you know. It's told me to not stop trying. Just to keep going, keep making things, keep having fun, keep seeing friends. I've done everything right, and it feels good. And when I look back on it all, I'm so pleased that I did this. It feels phenomenal. How do I get down? This feels like it's been a bit of a downer so far. But it's been a fantastic 250 days. It's been brilliant. I've had more good days than bad days, so let's talk about all the amazing stuff I've done. I've played 11 gigs. I've been invited to recording and rehearsal spaces. I've worked out 50 times. I've made loads of new and great friends. I've seen some amazing shows, worked with some brilliant people. I got a new job. I went to Iceland for the first time. First time I'd left the country since I was at university. I've stayed sober for 312 days. I've strengthened relationships with my family and my friends, my partner, my loved ones. I've improved myself, and I've made direct steps to doing all the right things. It's been a fantastic 250 days. The name of this series was 250 Days to Sort Everything Out. But in reality, you never sort anything out, right? I mean, the reward for getting through a bad month sometimes is just another bad month. You never sort anything out. There's always something coming. There's always a problem to solve. There's always something to get through. But there's so much to enjoy. It's only been 250 days. Just think of all the gigs I'll play, all the sessions I'll record at, all the singles I'll put out. My album comes out tomorrow. Well, I got it finished in the 250 days, and I filmed 2 music videos, released 2 singles and an EP. There's so much more time ahead of me. Think of all the friends I'll make. Think of all the places I'll visit. Think of how far I'll push myself. Think about the work I'll do on myself. I said to myself, I had 250 days to sort everything out. But I don't think that's true, you know? I've got the rest of my life to enjoy everything. Everything! Today, I'm 10,000 days old, and I have the rest of my life to enjoy all of it. I'll see you soon.